Hi! What a fucking surprise! Good heavens above. I don't know what this is all about, really, because I've just listened to one of Cheggs's broadcasts on this Chrome and heard it. I've opened up another channel on this Chrome and it's heard it. Put Bobby in and I can't hear a word he says. So, there you go. So, right, folks, I'm on my own. Only me, all alone am I. I'm trying to think if there's a song there and I can't think about it. Right, let me just get down to basics. Last night, I do apologise. I wasn't on last night. I didn't feel well at all, and I took a flask of hot water and half a bottle of brandy and went to bed at 8:30, and got up today at 10:30 and I was great. So it must have been a small bug I had. So next Sunday I should be back to normal. Yeah, I don't know. Anybody's willing to join, I'll put the link in, but I don't think it didn't work last week. So whether it'll work this week, I have no idea. But I'll put the link in, and if anybody wants to join in, they can do. But I can't get my head around it at all. Last week I thought I'd figure out why it didn't work. What had happened last week was I have two computers, and the one I'm on now is what I normally use, but I have a second one that I keep all rubbish and stuff like that on. And for some unknown reason, that had opened up. On YouTube Broadcast Studio, which basically was cutting out this stream on the other computer, and I found it later on, and I've tested this all week. The only thing I haven't tested, of course, is somebody coming in and talking. That's the only thing I haven't tested, but everything else is working. So I really don't know. Anyway, I just thought I'd put on my remembrance t-shirt, and I'll just stand up and give you a little view of what the t-shirt looks like if I can. So that's me t-shirt. I also have a hoodie with the same thing. So let's get down to things. Tom, I watched as many of the remembrance service things as I could. I don't use a mixer, mate. Yeah, so I watched Friday night, the Albert Hall. I was a little bit disappointed on the Albert Hall one because it wasn't as good as it normally is. It was okay, but it wasn't as good as it normally is. And then I watched it wasn't Friday night, it was Saturday night I watched it. And then Sunday morning, 10:15, I watched it again on at the where they all march past the cenotaph. And I saw one or two faces from my youth who I knew would be there because I'm in a group, and they'd all said, "Oh, we'll be there, and we'll be there." So unfortunately, what happened while there was the BBC, in their intimate wisdom, as the people I knew were marching up to pass the remembrance, the cenotaph, they went away to somewhere else and spoke to, I think, Sophie Rainworth, to somebody else giving their story. And then they come back, and as they came back, the people who I were watching had gone straight by. So I only saw a slight glimpse, but they were there. And I do know every year I get an email round about July time asking if I want to go on to the march past. But you know, I don't think it's me really. I think it's nice, but I don't think it's me because I don't know. I don't know really. I'm not that photogenic, I suppose. And I can't do with old people telling me all these war stories when I've heard them all before. So there you go. Fire in the background's great. It is. Yeah, it's good. I can do some things right. The only thing I can't do is get Bobby on this bloody stream. I blame him anyway. So there you go. So let me see who's in to start with. So good evening, Kelso. Thanks for caring and asking how I was last night. That was very nice. I really appreciate it. Tom, good evening. Who else? Real honest truth. Oh, that's Bobby. Evening, Bobby. Levi, good evening, son. Dom, good evening. I think I saw YS in there. Good evening, YS. Grammy, not seen you before, but good evening. Well, I might have seen you before, but it doesn't ring a bell. But anyway, everybody's welcome. Paul's going to talk again for an hour about absolutely knack all, basically, because I haven't got my buddy sat next to me. And it's breaking me bloody heart. So, Noxie, good evening. Who else? I'm getting down now. I think I said YS. Good evening, YS. Anybody else? No, I think I've said hello to everybody. I think. Anyway, thanks for coming. And like I say, I do apologise for last night. I had what I considered was quite a good hour's chat, and just to put a thing on it for next Sunday nights. If you were watching my last Sunday at 7, where I told you about my trip from Brid to Aldershot in 1966, well, I'm carrying on from leaving the Aldershot railway station and going up to the Army Catering College, and going to see. I spent 3 years at the Army Catering College, and of course, I can't say everything in an hour on that, so I might split it up into a couple of episodes, because there is quite a bit of stuff that can that I can elaborate a bit on. And of course, now that I've started doing these Sunday nights, memories are flooding back now. And what the fuck have I done now? What have I done? I don't know what I've done. I've no idea. I don't know what I've done, but there you go. Oh, I know what I've done. Forget it. I'm cracking up because I'm thinking I've cut Bobby off, but he's not bloody in, is he? So let me get back to the chat. Okay. Grammy, you don't have to be sorry for anything, mate. It's just that. All right. Okay. Yeah, so, Bobby, so do I. I blame that fat orange twat across the pond for everything that's happening in this country. We're going to fucking rack and ruin because of some fat, useless twat sat over there telling us how we should be running our country when they can't even run their fucking own. What's that all about? Anyway, that's me rant about him, and I'm not going to rant about Peter Levy because he's just a total pillock. So, well, somebody put something in the stream so I can react to it, and not something political or religious or about my love life. Oh, no. Yeah, you can ask about my love life because I ain't got one. Yeah. I'm not ready. Yeah. Going to sue the BBC for £1 billion. It's $1 billion, by the way, not pounds. And of course, dollars mean fuck all to us. Useless pillock. He's got this thing about suing people, hasn't he? He's just a total dipstick. We need Keir Starmer to grow a bloody backbone. Phone him up and say, hey, fatty, Foxtrot Foxtrot Oscar. Or run away in sharp, jerky movements and fucking multiply. Yeah, well, you don't hear me knocking BBC except for that useless twat they've got on BBC at 6:30. So I don't know what that's all about. Anyway, so yeah, that's him across the pond sorted. Hopefully, if he starts listening, he won't be listening to this, but if somebody tells him that there's a bloke over in Hull giving him grief, he might sue me. Silly twat. I don't know what that is. Tom, I have no idea what that. I know you're talking to somebody else. Ghost, yes, it worked well. I don't know what that means, but anyway. Anyway, we could go on the good British fallback chat, which is the weather, because the weather's gone belly up here today. It's absolutely teamed it down this afternoon. It was coming down so hard that I thought I had a problem. I was listening to some music on my Google, on my PC, and I could hear this bloody noise. And I thought, oh, what's this noise in the background? And it was a bloody rain hitting the windows. So there's no chance of having a swear box where I'm concerned, because it's only my money that goes in. And I don't have a lot. And what I do have is mine, and I'm keeping it. So there's no chance of it going in a tin. And it would need a bloody big bean tin for the amount of swearing I do. Yes, Dom, I do remember it well. That was before Bobby got hacked on his account. And we went live on both accounts at the same time. And I know it worked well, but whether it would work well now, I don't know. Yeah. I would make a great reaction creator, but all you'd hear me is effing and blinding. That's all you'd ever bloody hear. Do you know, I once got bruised knees. It wasn't from falling over, though. Anyway. Yeah, well. Okay, Dom, which weather channel did you see? Did you see that that stuff on about the weather? I hope it wasn't the BBC, because you can't believe a word they say. Apparently, allegedly. Anyway. There's loads of stuff running through here, and I can't really get it to come out here because it wouldn't sound right. Right, let me get on to something completely different. What have I got that's completely different? Not a great deal, really. I did spend this morning getting me Christmas cakes almond pasted. So, right. Well, RLNI should know, shouldn't they? So, I'm laughing at Knox's comments here. Anyway, why isn't Bobby putting some comments in here that, when he's on live with me, he's always throwing stuff for me to answer to, and yet, is it his typing's too bloody slow or what? Or has he gone? He might have fallen asleep, tell you the truth. You don't really know, do you? Right then, is Bibby in? I can't imagine Bibby's in. I haven't seen his name pop up. But, it's not very PC, that, is it, Noxie? Bibby and Bobby are puffs. That's a bloody mouth. I bet you couldn't say that when you're pissed. Bibby and Bobby are puffs. Rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Bit like, no, I'm not going to say that one either. Do you know, the thing in my head is starting to say, no, put a block on that. You're not going to say that. So, do you know, I can't do a thing with this bloody wig. I'll have to start sticking it down a bit better. Does my hair look great? And not great. What was it the other week? Somebody said, oh, your hair looks a bit blue. Doesn't look blue tonight, does it? No, it doesn't. Gaming streams. I don't even know what a gaming stream is, to tell you the truth. I like gaming, but I wouldn't be very good at it. I don't think. I used to play shit like that back in the day, when I was with the kids. The Xbox and all that kind of stuff. But I haven't played it for a long, long time. And saying that, bloody hell, I'm 70 odd. I don't want to be playing fucking gaming. There's me saying I don't want to be playing great gaming. I found a thing called Forge of Empires. It must be about 20 years old, but I've started on it. I'm quite into it. But there you go. Oh, no. Oh, Bobby started talking again, look. Wow, he's woke up. Anyway. A lot of questions there, Tom. Do you know, it's a thing I don't do a lot. Plan for Christmas, if you see what I mean. But I can honestly say I do like turkey. And unfortunately, I won't be going to midnight mass because it brings back too many memories, because midnight mass when we were younger, and I'm not saying, I wasn't 10 and 11. When we were younger, Mum and the family, my siblings and a few uncles and aunts and stuff like that, we used to go to midnight mass at the Priory Church in Bridlington. It's the only time, really, my mum went to church, because really she was a Methodist. And the Priory is not Methodist, it's Church of England shit, but we used to go to that every Christmas Eve. We used to go, but and then later on, when I was late teens, and I used to go with my brothers, and we used to go up into the high street in Brid and get basically pissed, and then go for midnight mass afterwards. But because I don't live in Brid anymore, and I'm certainly not going to get a train through and stuff like that, so I won't be going to midnight mass. I'll be, no matter where I go for Christmas, I normally end up either helping or, finishing off Christmas dinners, because I can honestly say, I'm quite good at cooking. So that's the answer. I do normally go to Queen Cheggs for Christmas, but yeah, we used to, Tom, we used to have, when I was at home and lived with my mum, and I didn't always live with my mum when I was young. When I came out the army and got divorced, I went to live with my mum. So for 2 or 3 years, I think, and we always used to have turkey for Christmas dinner, and Boxing Day used to be duck. Yes, Levi, I got a message from Angie to tell me how your mum's going. Yeah. So the only thing, about Christmas dinner, basically, is I do Christmas dinners, and I do them like my mum used to do them, and stuff like that. Well, you used to need a pair of step ladders to get to the top of your dinner to work your way down, because it was so big. But people don't have big dinners anymore. They all have these little plates, and they paint it all on. And yeah, so cooking for the troops was a totally different thing altogether. Basically, Christmas dinner is the easiest dinner of the year to do, because basically, when I was in the forces, you only had 3 choices for Christmas dinner. You would have beef, turkey. Oh, you'd have 4 choices. Sorry, you'd have beef, turkey, take it or leave it. So it's a lot easier cooking, one main meal for lots of people, because it's the same things, but in a lot more amounts, bigger amounts. So, it was Christmas was always quite an easy time, and the kitchens. Yeah, we could have a game of darts. I've got a dartboard in the back there. Yeah, the Christmas dinners and working on Christmas Eve, ready for Christmas dinner, because you used to have to do all the preparation on Christmas Eve, ready for Christmas dinner next day. But the ones who worked Christmas Day, there wasn't a lot of us. It was half the staff, because of course you didn't need huggings of staff because you were doing lots and lots of different things. So it made it easier, and a lot. We always made sure that the single guys worked Christmas Day, and the married guys got Christmas Day off, because the obvious thing is they want to be at home with the kids, don't they? The single guys, really, we just used to have our Christmas dinner and then close the kitchen down and then pop to the nappy bar and get pissed, basically, just party into the night. So, yeah. So, and then when I was at Ripon Christmas, I used to enjoy Ripon at Christmas. I was a single guy then. I'd got divorced and I was a single guy at Ripon. So, of course, I worked every Christmas. But what we used to do is when we finished the shift, and we normally finished about 11 at night, Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, about 11 at night we would finish, for the day. And we used to all get a bottle of wine or a case of ale or whatever, and we'd walk into Ripon. And what we'd look for is houses with lights on. If the lights was on, we'd go and knock on the door and just say we've come for the party. And if there were a party on, then, hey, get in, because they wouldn't know whether you were invited or not. So we always found a house with a party. Sometimes we dipped out because we got thrown out, but most times we had a decent do. And yeah, I can't remember the size of the turkeys, but they were bloody big. And we would go through a lot. I can't remember how many, but Tom, because there's been so many Christmases where we've cooked. So I can remember when I was at, where was I at? I was at Aviemore. We did 6 months in Aviemore over the winter period, and it was Christmas was part of that period. And I was there with the Royal Engineers, and we were building a dam up on a great big mountain. They called it a hill, but I called it a bloody mountain. And it was on one of these estates. And I can remember cooking 5 turkeys that Christmas Day for the Christmas dinner. So, but that was the most I've done on my own, because I was the only cook with these engineers, looking after them. So, but I remember it well. Good times had by all. Lovely. So yeah, it's I loved it up in Scotland in I can't remember what year it was. It might have been 72, 73. Not quite sure, but used to love it. I used to be in the kitchen on a morning, getting the early morning, getting the breakfast and stuff ready, and you used to get all the antlery things. I don't know, what do you call them? Things with antlers. I can't remember what you call them. Deer. And all the deer used to come down off the mountain to the back of this place where we were. looking for food. So that was quite an experience, and there were quite a lot of them. Nobody ever came out and shot them, but I presume they did at some point in time. But yeah, it was the good thing about doing the Scotland bit was reindeer. That's the one. Thank you. And deers, reindeer, but yeah. But I also learnt to ski up in Aviemore, so I wasn't very good at it, but it was another string in my bow, really, or whatever. I learned quite a few things whilst I've been in the whilst I was in the forces, I learned how to ski in Scotland. I learned how to water ski in Northern Ireland. Well, the first tour in Northern Ireland. The first tour in Northern Ireland, we were in a place called Castle Dillon, and it was a big old manor house thing. I don't know if you're thinking of whatever they are, but it had a huge lake. And the first time we went there, the engineers purchased a speedboat, and we used to go skiing, water skiing, on this great big lake. The second time we went, the boat had gone, and we were behind barricades of Wrigley tin and shit like that, because the place had been attacked a few times, mortar bombed a couple of times. So we had anti-mortar screens all over the place, and so we couldn't really do anything the second time. First time it was great. Yeah, Tom, making your own decorations. That's just brought a thing out. I don't know. Blue Peter. Blue Peter. I never got a bloody badge mansion, but Blue Peter did I can remember, and I was about 7 or 8, I think. And it showed you how to make a Christmas decoration out of metal coat hangers. And I made my mum one, and she was absolutely over the moon with this decoration that I'd made out of metal coat hangers. She told me off because I nicked 3 of her coat hangers to do it, but she enjoyed the thing, and it was, she still had it, and I can remember her still putting it up when I was older, when I came back in 70 odd or whatever. She still put this thing I'd made from Blue Peter, showing us how to make it. It was still one of her main it was still one of her main I don't know what you call it, the main decorations. So, Noxie, you've got a Blue Peter badge. It's not a gold one, is it? I'd like a Blue Peter badge, because I don't know if anybody knows, but I have don't know what you call them hats, like a jockey hat, but it isn't a jockey hat. And I have badges and pins in it, So, yeah, Bobby, I am reading the chat, and I can see the things. Yeah. So anyway, where was I? Because as usual, Bobby's put me right off the stroke. I'm glad we were mates when I was younger, and he was putting me off my stroke. I wouldn't have known what to do with myself. There you go. Anyway, getting back to streaming games, and I did see a thing earlier on where I think it was Levi had put in SimCity, and I did do SimCity for a little while. I couldn't get into it really, but I did do it. It's not a Deerstalker at Pratt. Baseball cap, that's it. It's a baseball cap. So, yeah, okay, Levi. I'm only on for another 10 more minutes or so. So, thanks for coming. Always nice to see you. Really nice. And that bit of air is just getting my fucking head out of thing. So anyway, my baseball cap, it's quite full at the moment. Well, it ain't quite full. It's full at the front, but the sides are a little bit bare. But I put four new pins in the past couple of weeks. I never got a Jim will fix it badge either. Yeah, I don't think I'd have ever wanted Jim never ever fixed it for me. Yeah, I met him a few times. He came in, as you know, I've had pubs and stuff like that, and he came into a pub I used to have in Leeds, just outside Leeds. It's in Morley, but yeah, and he came in there a couple of times, as he does, that big stupid grin on his face and a fucking cigar. Silly twat. Anyway, I didn't rate him at that time. I don't rate him now, but I didn't rate him then. Oh, that's nice, Kels. So you all sorted now, then? I shall have to get on a train one day soon and get myself over, because it would be nice to see you again, to see you nice. It's always nice to see you, Kels, anyway. Where was I? What was I talking about? Kel, I was talking about the shiny suit man. Never rated him at all. He always seemed to me as a smooth little shit. There you go. No, I didn't YS. I'd heard rumours, but that's, I'd heard a lot of rumours back in the day, and you wouldn't believe some of them. But, yeah, I'd heard rumours. But it was being in a pub, you always, you've got to listen to everybody, haven't you? You can't just say, oh, fuck off, you're not talking. You know what I mean? You have to listen to everybody's pains and whatever. So, yeah, it was well rumoured in Leeds. It was well rumoured all over, quite honestly. Lots of people knew, but I don't think anybody had enough. Don't know. Anyway, it doesn't make any difference, does it? He's neither here nor there. We shouldn't really be talking about their little shit. But we can all say things, oh, this should have happened, that should have happened. People knew, those knew, these knew, whatever. Yeah, nothing was done. So there you go. We'll just leave it at that, really. He didn't get his comeuppance, did he? He had to die before he got his comeuppance. But, what they should have done is dug him up and fucking burnt him on a stake, and then chopped his head off and put it on a stake down at London, like they used to do back in the day. Well, back in the day, though. But yeah, there's lots, there's lots of rumours kicking about, and unfortunately at this moment in time, or this period in time, if a rumour starts, well, it's never going to finish, because everybody will say, oh, well, there must be something to it because we've heard it. Well, you've heard it from somebody who just talks a load of bollocks, basically. So I'm not knocking it, though. I'm not sticking up with the little shit, because that's what he was, a little shit. But those things happened. It was a bit like what's his name? Who used to hit the women with an hammer? What was his name? Peter Sutcliffe. The Yorkshire Ripper. That's the man. Now, for the chase for the Yorkshire Ripper, I used to go from, where was I? I was in Harrogate, I think. At a pub in Harrogate, and I used to drive through to Bradford to go to the casino. And of course, when you're at the casino, you're coming out, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then you're coming out of the city 4 o'clock in the morning, and you get pulled by the plod, asking where you're going, where you've been, what you're doing, and because they were searching for the Ripper, and I think I got pulled up 4 times for that over that period of time. So there you go. Yeah, Tom, you can't say that all. Yeah, you can't say that all BBC News is biased. You really can't. I think some of the BBC News is, and I honestly think 1 or 2 of the news programs are biased, especially Thursday night's Question Time. I think it's one of the most biased pieces of shit I've ever watched. Well, saying that, I don't watch it now because I lose my rag. Yeah, I saw him a few times, Dom, in Scarborough. He used to come through to Brid as well with the Corrigans, because the Corrigans had a few places in Brid. And who were the others? Corrigans, and there was another big family of them, and they were all into it. And I think it was basically he had that air of being what's the word? A traveller, the traveller type. And I don't know whether you can say they're a type, but I think that was, he had that air of the traveller folk. I don't know if he was, but that's what he comes across to me as, a little shit. Anyway, so yeah, BBC drama and documentaries. Well, some of the documentaries, are a bit biased, aren't they? You've only got to look back 2 months about the Gaza one, where was a little bit biased, really. So, yeah, not everybody gets it right. The newspapers have been biased for fucking years, and they're still going. And people still buy the bloody paper. What's that all about? Why? What's the point of buying a fucking newspaper nowadays? You can get it all online. You don't need a bloody newspaper. What a bag of shit. Well, yeah. Well, you can't even wrap your fish and chips up in them, can you? Yeah. What can I rant about now? Yeah, Kel, Sutcliffe was pulled up 4 or 5 times, and they only caught him by fluke. It was only a fluke that they actually. That was. Yeah, that was how they caught him. It was a fluke. The policeman caught him just by chance. So, Dom, they did dig him up and ended up being cremated. Yeah, I knew that, but what they didn't do is they didn't put him on a stake and fucking burn him, did they? You know, like Guy Fawkes night, you burn the effigy. Well, they should have stuck him on a Guy Fawkes fucking bonfire and set light to it and then pulled him down with, afterwards, chop his head off, stick it on a stake and go and put it down in the Tower of London thing. Yeah, so, a lot of people from those days were a little bit iffy, wasn't they? It was all that, can I be in your gang type? They were all in a little gang type thing. There's no chance of me getting any plants to survive during Christmas because they just die, If I brought a plant into the house, it'd die the next day because it'd just say, oh my God. Anyway, let's go off Jimmy Savile because he's a bit of a shit. We shouldn't really be talking about him because it's best to be forgotten, really. That's the best thing, is to forget him, not to keep talking about him. And I do apologise because I'm saying all that and it was me that brought his bloody name up. So I'll slap my ass later for bringing that up because I shouldn't have done. Anyway, folks, we're coming up to 8 o'clock and I just want to say again, thank you for turning up. Some have stayed all the time, some haven't, but we're not talking about Peter Levy. Anyway, so thank you for turning up. Thanks for listening. And again, I will be back on this channel at 7 o'clock next Sunday, giving you another update on my my young experiences of when I joined the Army Catering Company, Army Catering Corps in 1966. There's 1 or 2 little stories in there. And if anybody wants to do a little bit of Jimmy Corrigan, I knew Jimmy Corrigan. Yeah, I knew Jimmy Corrigan. What was I going to say? Yeah, if anybody wants to do a little background on shit, I was once on a BBC tea time program back in the 60s, and it was Pancake Day, and we were filmed. I wasn't filmed doing the pancakes, but I was filmed marching from our barracks down to the Army Catering College, and then they used some other young kids to do the pancakes. And I've searched and searched and searched for it, and I can't find it, but it'll be there somewhere. It'll be out there somewhere. But and I think it was Cliff Mitchellmore who did the program, and like they do the 6 o'clock one, Look North or whatever it is in your area. Well, they used to have one which was nationwide during the week. didn't go out at 6. I think it went out at 7 o'clock or something like that. Might have been a bit later. But I do remember doing it, and I remember us having to get special permission to stay up to watch it on the TV because we had to go to bed early, of course. Lights out. Anyway, so folks, thank you for coming. I have yeah, so it's live long and prosper, and TTFN, and hopefully see you again next Sunday evening at 7 o'clock, same channel, same